Life has a way of testing us. Sometimes the storms we face feel endless, the pain seems unbearable, and the road ahead is fogged with uncertainty. But my dear friend, remember this. Just because the skies are dark now doesn't mean the sun won't shine again. Staying positive doesn't mean ignoring your pain. It means choosing to believe that your story is not over yet. Your scars are not your shame, they are your strength. You are not broken. You are becoming. And in your becoming, there is beauty, resilience, and unshakable hope. This is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about standing tall in the face of adversity and saying, even if life breaks me, I will rebuild myself stronger, wiser, and kinder than before. When life gets tough, let it shape you, not shatter you. So, how do you stay positive when life is falling apart? Let's walk through it together. Accept the pain without losing your faith in the future. Pain has a peculiar way of walking into our lives uninvited. It never knocks, never asks permission, it just barges in, sits in the center of our hearts and dares us to live with it. And while everything in you might want to push it out, scream at it, deny it, pain doesn't leave until it teaches you what it came to reveal. Accepting pain does not mean surrendering to it. It means recognizing that something sacred is being carved into the soul. It means saying, this hurts, but this will not destroy me. There's a quiet kind of bravery in allowing yourself to feel without letting the feeling drown you. The world teaches us to run from discomfort, to numb ourselves with distractions, to hide behind masks of forced joy. But what if true courage is not in the escape, but in the embrace? What if the most powerful act is to sit with your pain and still whisper, I will rise? Every broken moment carries a hidden message, a message that cannot be heard when you're busy pretending you're fine. You must stand still, let the silence speak, and trust that even in the dark, something inside you is being rebuilt. There is beauty in brokenness that only those who felt deep pain can ever understand. When your heart has been shattered, you begin to notice the world differently. You see the lonely, you hear the unheard, and you become a light to those still lost in the dark. Pain will try to convince you that your best days are behind you, that the joy you once felt will never return, that you are now defined by what you've lost, but you are not your loss. You are not your heartbreak. You are the hope that survives after everything else has burned away. Staying positive in hard times doesn't mean pretending. It doesn't mean you laugh through the tears or smile while bleeding inside. It means carrying a seed of belief that refuses to die, even when everything feels like it's falling apart. You have the right to cry, to scream, to break down, but do not confuse those moments for weakness. They are your becoming. Let the pain do what it must: shape you, stretch you, strengthen you, but never let it stop you. Hope is stubborn. It hides under the rubble. It waits quietly when you've forgotten how to pray. It flickers like a dying candle in the wind, refusing to go out completely. And when you are ready, even the smallest flicker can become a flame again. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is take one breath, just one. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you believe somewhere deep inside that this moment is not the end. That there is still something worth holding on to. Your journey is not defined by the chapter you're currently in. Maybe this is the chapter of loss or confusion or betrayal. But you are still writing. You are still here. And your story is far from over. Faith in the future is not about knowing what will come. It's about trusting that something beautiful can still be born out of ashes. That you are being prepared for something greater than the storm you're facing. Don't be ashamed of your pain. Wear it like armor. Speak of it without fear. Let others see that it is possible to walk through fire and still carry light. Your survival is not just for you, it's for everyone who needs proof that healing is real. Sometimes, the most sacred growth happens in silence, in the quiet of your soul, where no one can see the war being fought. That's where the rebuilding begins, not with noise, but with presence. With the decision to stay one more day. And when life tries to whisper that you're finished, that you've lost too much, that the pain is too heavy. Let your heart respond. I may be hurting, but I am still becoming. I am still here. I still believe. Find light in the little things. When life becomes overwhelming, when the heaviness in your chest refuses to lift, the instinct is to search for something big, some dramatic shift, some monumental miracle to bring relief. But healing rarely arrives with fanfare. It slips in gently through the tiniest cracks of your day. It's in the soft golden light that filters through your window when you wake up. It's in the quiet rhythm of your breath when you pause for a moment to remember you're alive. That's where the light lives, in the unnoticed, in the ordinary, in the seemingly insignificant. The human soul is not fed by grand achievements alone. It is nourished by presence. And presence is what allows you to see the miracles already around you. The warmth of a cup of tea, the calm in the hush of evening, a message from someone who simply says, I'm thinking of you. Gratitude isn't about having everything. It's about seeing what you already have. And when life strips you of comfort, when dreams slip through your fingers, gratitude becomes a lifeline. A rope that pulls you back into the light, one heartbeat at a time. We often wait for everything to be okay before we let ourselves feel joy. But what if you didn't have to wait? What if joy wasn't on the other side of the storm, but right there in the middle of it, waiting for you to notice? The world will always be loud. Problems will always demand your attention. But in every moment, you have a choice to fixate on what's missing or to cherish what remains. And what remains even after the worst day is often more than enough to keep going. Some days, the only light you'll see is the one you create. A small act of kindness, a shared smile, a word of encouragement you give to someone else, not realizing it's healing you too. That's the power of the little things. They multiply. They ripple outward. They return. When everything feels like too much, slow down. Look around. The tree outside your window is still reaching for the sky. The stars still scatter across the night. The world hasn't stopped turning, and neither have you. There is no shame in finding beauty in simple things. In fact, it is the mark of a resilient spirit to be surrounded by darkness and still search for light. That is not weakness. That is profound strength. Let every smile become a seed, every breath a prayer, every ordinary moment a reminder that you are still here, still capable of noticing life's quiet gifts. The smallest joys are not small at all, they are sacred. There is a kind of magic in noticing, in paying attention to the way your pet curls beside you, to the scent of rain on dry earth, to the music that finds your heart when words cannot. These are the threads that mend your spirit without you even realizing. You may not be where you thought you'd be. You may not have what you longed for, but you still have this moment. And if you slow down enough to truly see it, you'll realize it is enough. For now, it is enough. The world wants you to believe that fulfillment comes from more success, more recognition, more possessions. But real peace often comes from less. Less noise, less expectation, less distraction. And in that quiet space, you rediscover wonder. Celebrate the smallest victories. The day you got out of bed when everything inside you wanted to give up. The meal you cooked for yourself when you felt too tired to care. These moments matter. These are the building blocks of healing. And when it feels like you're walking in shadows, remember, even the faintest light makes a difference. You don't need a blazing sunrise to begin again. Sometimes, all it takes is noticing the glow of one tiny star and believing it's enough to guide you forward. Rewrite the story you tell yourself. We all have a voice inside our heads. It whispers, narrates, judges, and often wounds. In moments of pain, that voice can grow loud and cruel. It says things no one else would dare to say to you. You're not enough. This is your fault. You'll never make it out of this. But that voice is not the truth. It's just a reflection of the hurt you've absorbed. The mind is a powerful storyteller. It takes a single failure and turns it into a prophecy. It takes a painful experience and calls it identity. But you are not your worst day. You are not your biggest mistake. You are not the pain that someone else placed on your back. If you want to stay positive when life gets tough, you must first challenge the stories you tell yourself. Every time you say, I'm broken, replace it with, I'm healing. Every time you whisper, I've lost everything, say instead, I'm learning to live with less and find more within. Speak gently to yourself. You are listening. Your soul hears every word you speak. Would you say the same things to a friend who is hurting? Then why say them to the one person who needs your compassion the most, yourself? We spend years internalizing the voices of others, parents, teachers, strangers, critics, and then we carry those voices as if they are our own. But they are not. You have the power to rewrite the dialogue. You have the authority to speak new truth into your life. It begins with awareness. Notice the script running in your mind. Are the words rooted in love or fear? Are they lifting you or limiting you? Once you recognize the narrative, you can begin to shift it word by word, breath by breath. This is not about toxic positivity or pretending things are okay when they're not. This is about honoring your truth without letting it cage you. It's saying, yes, I'm struggling, but I'm also strong. I am lost, but not gone. I am tired, but I'm still standing. Language shapes reality. What you say to yourself becomes how you see yourself. And how you see yourself becomes how you show up in the world. Choose words that water your spirit, not ones that deplete it. The next time you look in the mirror, speak with reverence. Not for how you look, but for what you've lived through. For the nights you held yourself together. For the courage it takes to face another day. Say to your reflection, I am proud of you. I believe in you. I will not abandon you. Sometimes you must unlearn before you can begin anew. Unlearn the lies you believed in childhood. Unlearn the shame handed down to you. Unlearn the silence you were taught to keep. And then start writing a new chapter. One that begins with truth and ends in freedom. Give yourself permission to change. You are not bound to the version of you that suffered in silence. You are not obligated to carry outdated definitions of who you are. You can evolve. You can choose a new identity rooted in love, growth, and grace. Every day is a blank page. No matter how long your story has been defined by struggle, you are allowed to write hope into the margins. You are allowed to add new characters, new settings, new dreams. The ink is in your hands now. There will be days you'll fall back into old scripts. That's okay. Healing is not linear. Growth is not perfect. When those days come, don't judge yourself. Just gently return to the truth. I am becoming. I am learning. I am rewriting. Speak affirmations, even when your heart doesn't believe them yet. Speak them until your spirit begins to rise again. Let your words be the bridge between who you are now and who you are becoming. Let them carry you when your feet feel too heavy to move. You are not the voice of your pain. You are the author of your resilience. And every time you choose to rewrite your story with hope, you take back power that life or people tried to steal from you. This is your voice now. Let it rise like a melody of survival. Turn your wounds into wisdom. Every wound has a story. Some are visible, marked on the skin like battle scars. Others live deep within, hidden behind smiles, polite nods, and carefully constructed sentences. But no matter how silent the wound may be, it carries truth. And truth, when embraced, can become wisdom. You don't have to be unscathed to be strong. In fact, your strength is born from what you've survived. From the nights you didn't think you'd make it. From the mornings you woke up and chose to try again. Wisdom isn't perfection, it's pain that has been transformed into purpose. People will tell you to move on, to forget, to let it go. But healing doesn't come from denial. It comes from looking your pain in the eye and saying, you may have hurt me, but you will not define me. I will use you to grow. The wound is the place where the light enters, but only if you let it. Only if you stop covering it up with shame and start asking, what is this teaching me? Because beneath every ache lies a lesson waiting to emerge. pain teaches you what truly matters. It teaches you to be present, to treasure connection, to find beauty in vulnerability. You begin to see that the world doesn't need more perfection, it needs more people who've dared to turn their mess into meaning. You are not weak for feeling deeply. You are not broken for being broken open. In fact, it's those cracks that make you human, and it's that humanity that makes you capable of extraordinary empathy. The kind that touches others in ways no polished words ever could. Wisdom is not loud. It doesn't boast. It shows up in the quiet moments when you comfort a friend without needing to fix them, when you choose to listen instead of judge, when you love someone without needing anything in return. Those are the fruits of wounds that have been redeemed. Every time you choose forgiveness over resentment, you grow. Not because they deserve your forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. Every time you choose compassion over cynicism, you soften the world. Every time you share your story, you give someone else permission to do the same. You don't need a degree or a title to be wise. You need honesty. You need humility. You need a willingness to sit with your pain long enough to hear what it's really saying. Wisdom is birthed in silence, not applause. Let your pain open your eyes. Let it teach you how to walk gently in a world that's often too harsh. Let it teach you to speak kindly in a world that forgets how to listen. Let it teach you to be patient with others and with yourself. Sometimes, wisdom looks like choosing rest instead of running, choosing boundaries instead of people-pleasing, choosing truth even when it's uncomfortable. These choices may seem small, but they are revolutionary acts of self-respect. The deepest wisdom often comes from your darkest valleys, the nights when you question your worth, the moments when everything fell apart, the seasons of silence, isolation, and uncertainty. It is therein, the emptiness, that you discover the richness of your spirit. Don't be afraid to talk about your wounds, not to bleed all over the world, but to show others they are not alone. To remind them that healing is possible, that something beautiful can be born from the broken. You don't have to be fully healed to be wise. You just have to be willing to grow, willing to learn, willing to take your pain and do something with it. Something that makes the suffering worth it, not by erasing it, but by evolving through it. Your wounds are not your weakness. They are the roots of your wisdom. And every time you use what you've learned to lift someone else, to love deeper, to live truer, you prove that pain may have shaped you, but it did not shatter you. It prepared you for this very moment. Embrace the journey, not just the destination. We grow up hearing that success lies at the end of a path after the hard work, after the struggle, after the pain, so we begin to chase. We chase goals, titles, healing, happiness. But the truth is, life isn't lived at the finish line. Life happens in the in-between. The journey is where you find who you are. It's in the detours, the delays, the unexpected twists that you learn how strong, patient, and brave you can be. And sometimes the journey looks nothing like you imagined, but that doesn't make it any less sacred. It's easy to wait for joy, to postpone gratitude until things are better, to hold back hope until circumstances change. But every second you spend waiting for someday is a second you lose of today. You don't have to arrive to start appreciating the road. There's beauty in becoming, even when it's messy, even when it's slow. Growth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it looks like waking up and trying again. Sometimes it looks like crying and still showing up. That's what the journey is. It's real, raw, and relentlessly revealing. When you embrace the journey, you stop rushing through the hard parts. You start asking, what is this moment asking of me? What is it teaching me? Who am I becoming because of it? You stop seeing pain as punishment and start recognizing it as part of the process. It's okay to have goals. It's okay to want more. But don't let the hunger for tomorrow rob you of today's nourishment. Don't miss the lessons hidden in the struggle. Don't overlook the small wins, the quiet breakthroughs, the inner shifts. There's a certain kind of wisdom that only the long road can teach. It's the wisdom of patience, of surrender, of trusting that just because you can't see the progress doesn't mean it isn't happening beneath the surface. Think of the tree. It doesn't rush to grow. It stretches upward and digs deeper, both at once. You are the same. Even when it feels like you're stuck, you're becoming stronger. Even when nothing seems to change, your roots are anchoring in truth. The journey is not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be felt. The tears, the doubts, the laughter, the moments of awe, they are all part of the mosaic of your becoming. Don't wait to love your life until it looks like a highlight reel. Love it in its raw, unfinished form. Sometimes embracing the journey means forgiving yourself for not being further along. It means celebrating the fact that you're still here, still breathing, still open to the possibility that things can get better even if they're not better yet. Along the way, you'll outgrow people, places, and even parts of yourself. That's not failure. That's the evidence of transformation. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to change course. You are allowed to let go of who you thought you'd be to make space for who you truly are. The road may be long. The nights may be dark, but there is purpose in every step. Even the ones that feel like setbacks, even the ones that feel like you're walking in circles. You're not lost, you're learning. When you start to trust the journey, peace begins to rise. Not because the circumstances improve, but because you no longer need everything to be perfect to feel okay. You begin to see that joy is not a place, it is a perspective. Every soul you meet along the way, every scar you collect, every story you carry, these are the treasures of the journey. They shape you, they soften you, they open you up to a kind of wisdom no destination can offer. So don't wait to arrive to celebrate your life. Don't wait to achieve to feel worthy. You are already in the sacred unfolding. And this moment, exactly as it is messy, uncertain, unfinished, it is still part of the miracle. Embrace it. In the end, staying positive when life gets tough is not about pretending the pain doesn't exist. It's about standing tall with trembling knees. It's about choosing to breathe through the heartbreak, to walk through the storm barefoot, knowing you are still worthy of peace even when life feels like war. It's not about having all the answers, but about holding on to the questions without letting them drown you. It's about waking up to face days that scare you and still saying, today, I will try. It's about honoring your sadness without letting it steal your joy. About facing your weakness and discovering strength in the very place you thought you had none. You stay positive not by pushing the pain away, but by inviting light in, by letting gratitude take root in the soil of your sorrow, by letting hope echo louder than despair. You rewrite the story you've told yourself, and remember, you are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become in spite of it. You turn your wounds into wisdom. You take what broke you and you build with it. Brick by brick, breath by breath, you rise, not because it's easy, not because everything makes sense, but because you are done waiting for the world to change, to start healing. You are done handing your power to the pain. You stay positive by walking the journey, not rushing to escape the struggle, but choosing to find meaning in the mess. Choosing to believe that even now, especially now, something within you is being shaped. Something sacred, something stronger than what tried to break you. You were never meant to just survive. You were meant to bloom, even in the dark. And so when life gets tough, don't just hold on, rise up. Don't just endure, transform. Don't just exist, ignite. Because your light matters. Your voice matters. Your story is not over. It is only just beginning.